So what's a masternode? How is it different from staking or mining? Why are they one of the best investment opportunities of this century? And how do you get one? Thanks for tuning in to Ready Set Crypto. This is your brain on blockchain. So before we talk about masternodes, let me give you a crash course on regular nodes and the blockchain itself. Remember that one of the best parts about the blockchain is that it's made up of tons of computers all over the world. What's special about how blockchains work is that every single one of those computers has the same exact record of a shared database. So everything that's ever happened on that database are in what are known as blocks, which store the records. We call this shared database the blockchain. So if you want to add to the blockchain, the next block on the chain, you need to convince every single computer on the network that you've got a valid transaction. You can't edit previous data, you can only add to the blockchain. And that's called being immutable and append only. And it's what makes the blockchain so special. Immutable shared data is pretty rare and special when it comes to technology. And that's what gives cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin the mantle of being the first piece of digital property that has scarcity. The process of getting all those computers, or what I'm now going to refer to as nodes, to agree on what should be added next, what should be appended to the end of the blockchain, is called consensus. What method of consensus those nodes use is dependent on the coin they're helping to secure. Or in other words, the nodes are what make the blockchain able to process so many transactions and stay secure from attackers. The more nodes, the harder it is to disrupt the network because of node loss, or 51% attacks, which is when one node or group of nodes controls over half the network, which lets them dictate what gets appended to the blockchain, and as such, the network is now centralized, defeating the purpose of a decentralized currency. Okay, so to summarize, nodes are a bunch of computers that make the blockchain work and stay secure through a process called consensus. As I said, what method or algorithm of consensus is used depends on the coin. The most famous one out there, Bitcoin, uses a method known as proof of work, otherwise known as mining. Effectively mining Bitcoin these days requires specialized computers that cost a lot of money, and if you want to maximize profits, you need a lot of them, and you need to get cheap electricity, a lot of cheap electricity. So much electricity that people started getting concerned about the environmental impact of cryptocurrencies because Bitcoin mining alone used more electricity than 159 different countries, 30 times more than all Tesla cars combined, 0.13% of the total global electricity consumption. If Bitcoin miners were a country, they'd rank 61st in the world in terms of energy consumption. Some people argue that it's not a waste because you're turning one resource, power or electricity, into another, monetary value. But we're not going to argue in this video about the merits of cryptocurrency mining. Some people saw this massive amount of electricity use and thought there should be an alternative consensus algorithm. Hence we have proof of stake, or staking. I think people unnecessarily make mining and staking way too complicated by going into way too many details. All you really need to know with staking is that the more coin you have, the better staking rewards you get. Think of it like a savings account. The coins team determines the average staking reward percentage, sort of like the interest percentage you get paid at the bank. And in turn, you get rewarded for not touching your money. The more you lock up or stake, the more you hypothetically get paid. It's cool because for coins like Neo, I'm getting paid several $100s worth in dividends every month for literally doing nothing with the money except keeping it locked away. Even when the market's down, I'm still making money because of dividend yielding proof of stake coins. So when it comes to mining versus staking, I'm not necessarily in favor of one method of consensus over the other. There are significant, mostly hypothetical drawbacks to both staking and mining. I believe the future will belong to coins that can marry both. One way people criticize staking is that you could just literally buy 51% of the supply and dominate the coin to your own benefit. However, my rebuttal is that in order to acquire that much of a coin, you would need to erode the supply, which would shoot up price and demand to the roof. And for what? There's 1,000 other coins out there. If people sensed that a coin had become centralized, they would jump ship and the price would crater. So this brings us to masternodes. They're a very popular aspect of cryptocurrency right now. Quite simply, masternodes require a very large set amount of a coin and are granted even better dividend rewards than typical rewards earned through mining or staking. Most people think that masternodes are an extension of proof-of-stake coins exclusively, but that's not quite true. There are coins out there that use mining to make use of masternodes, so these kinds of nodes aren't exclusive to staking or mining alone. With that being said, running a masternode is just like staking, in the sense that you generate passive income through a masternode just by having your coins in a wallet and not moving them, similar to how stakers earn in staking systems. I think the big thing here to emphasize is that you can make a passive income with a masternode, just like you could with a staking cryptocurrency, but the rewards will be much greater on average. Since the release of the Dash masternode, which we'll cover Dash Coin later, many coins have released their variant of the system. The overarching feature that we see with masternodes appears to be the locking of a minimum amount of coins, performing or gaining ability to do a particular task within the blockchain or ecosystem, and receiving a reward. So let's get into the details here, especially how much money do you earn with masternodes? Well, that's going to depend on a couple things you need to consider. Probably the most important thing is that your coin, and therefore the team behind it, need to be in it for the long term. If the team is no longer solvent, stop working on the coin, pulled the plug, etc., 5 years down the road, you're going to be hurting because your long-term investment is suddenly not worth as much. The problem is that there's no magic bullet here because no one can see the future. So that's why you need to learn how to evaluate a team and look into the leaders of the project. Have they, for example, had experience with this kind of project or sector before? What happened to their last project? Make sure you're not in a pump and dump. The second thing you need to consider when trying to find a coin is that you need to make sure it has masternode supported. Now, this is really a double-edged sword, because if a coin goes into their ICO and they're advertising masternodes, they're going to get a lot of attention. And if they announce masternodes after they've already started trading, that's going to shoot up the price as people are going to clamor to scoop up enough of the coin in order to run the masternode. I've seen coins such as VChain and Walton chain raise in price massively because they revealed that they'd be adding masternodes. Really, the secret here is finding coins that might or probably will be offering a masternode in the future, but that's sort of akin to finding a needle in the haystack. So you kind of need to know what to look for. The third thing you need to know is how the coin facilitates the masternode. For example, masternodes for Walton chain can receive decent rewards if you just do staking, just leave 5,000 WTC in a wallet and don't touch it. But you can receive even better rewards if you actively mine to that wallet address and use your masternode to secure you a better mining yield than if you were mining without a masternode. So you can see masternodes can give you benefits in different forms, and it all comes down to your money making you more money. The crypto rich get even richer. The last thing to consider, although it's kind of hard to determine accurately, is knowing the payout percentage, especially the ROI, or return on investment, as the coin appreciates in value over the years. So my Walton masternode currently earns me X amount at Y percentage, but if Walton's price goes 5 times the current price of Z, I'm going to also earn 5 times X amount. That's where things get really interesting. Generally, I've seen masternode yield percentages decrease over time, but that can easily be mitigated with an increase in price of the underlying coin. Clearly, masternodes are great, but the crux is finding out about a coin before it's big, and the masternodes are too expensive for most people. Honestly, there's very little strategy here other than being constantly on the hunt for these gems. So with that in mind, let's finish out this video by covering a couple coins that have masternodes, what they're worth, and what ROI you can expect. As I mentioned earlier, the most famous is Dash Coin. The term masternode originated within the blockchain industry by the startup Dash. In the Dash ecosystem, a masternode is a computer, aka a node, that runs Dash wallets, aiding in the decision tree of the Dash blockchain consensus. The masternodes within Dash help lock transactions with InstaSend, redistribute, and assist in the mixing of coins and voting on budget funding for the Dash community to use as they best see fit. Within the Dash ecosystem, you must have a minimum of 1,000 Dash in order to participate as a masternode. When Dash announced masternodes in June of 2015, the going price per 1,000 Dash was roughly $3,000. Today, buying a Dash masternode will cost approximately $600,000 to acquire one. The payoff is that the node yields, at the current valuation of Dash, $47,000 per year in dividends. For some people, that's enough to live off of and never have to work again. Next up on our list is one I will admit that I am invested in. I'm currently running a Guardian masternode for Walton, which required 5,000 WTC to be in a WTC wallet before December 8th, 2017. I'm not currently seeing ROI on it as they've not enabled staking or mining on the network. And that will occur sometime in Q1 when they release their mainnet. And when that goes live, I'll have a dedicated mining rig for my masternode to lock in better returns. Conservatively, I estimate that if Walton becomes a successful project, something like $100 per WTC, that I'll net nearly $50,000 a year in dividends alone. But I won't know for sure until more details come out regarding the yield rate. People are estimating something around 20% for the first year. One of the indirect competitors of Walton is VChain, and they've got an interesting model where you can earn a new token, Thor Power, for holding the VChain coin, VET. Just like how Neo generates gas, you'll be able to trade Thor Power on exchanges. For every 1 VET, you'll earn 0.00042 Thor Power per day, which means that if you have a wallet containing 2,381 VET, you'll earn 1 Thor Power per day. Additionally, if you have 10,000 VET, you'll generate an additional 38.7% of the base rate. 50,000 VET and it's 57%. 150,000 and you get 75.2%. And somehow if you have 250,000 VET, first off, hello your majesty, and secondly, you can apply to be one of the 101 addresses known as an authority node, which generates the same 75.2% plus 30% of all Thor Power transactions on the blockchain, which I think is pretty insane. So one coin that I found recently is called Track, or Origin Trail, and it's rumored to have masternodes added in the future, but no one knows if it will require 10,000, 20,000, or even 100,000 Track to run one. The good part is that if you had 100,000 Track and the team announced that one masternode required 10,000 Track, you now have 10 masternodes. It's also at a really good price right now. If the masternode requires 20,000 Track, for example, that's only $3,000 at today's prices. We'll know more about the masternodes and the amount needed sometime in March, after which I anticipate people will flood into this coin, or if it gets listed on a big exchange before then. Until then, if you're interested in this coin, take the time to learn how to use IDEX, which is way better than Ether Delta. And please don't trade on HitBTC. As I mentioned in my last video, Payfair's trust nodes only cost about $1,400 right now, or 10,000 PFR, which is a pretty cheap investment considering the nodes will pay out 0.8% of all transactions on the Payfair system starting sometime after April, which is obviously subject to change. So next up are Zcoin and Pivx, and they're two really good privacy coins that both use the Zero Coin protocol. Both currently cost around the same to get a masternode, $50,000, but where Pivx has a masternode return rate of about 14%, Zcoin's return rate is around 33%. That being said, in my opinion, Pivx is a better coin currently, and the market agrees with me based on market cap, as Pivx is 300 million to Zcoin's 200 million. However, you could bet on the underdog, and it's got a better return rate, and see if you don't come out on top. Pivx requires 10,000 coins, while Zcoin requires 1,000, but obviously their circulating supply is very different, hence the market cap discrepancy. Another privacy coin that I've taken a liking to lately is For, which just rebranded to For Blockchain. It's a fork of Pivx, and they're looking to implement anonymized decentralized applications, or ADApps, which would make them one of the first privacy platforms, and certainly the first with masternodes. Just like Pivx, 4's Masternode requires 10,000 coins and currently costs around $28,000, but it has a very respectable 40% yield rate. Another cheap Masternode that you could do very well with is Zencash. Priced at $40 per coin, it only requires 42 coins to set up the Masternode, bringing the total cost to around $1,700 to acquire one. The annual return will be something like 28%, or 1 Zen per month per Masternode, which is not bad. Another one currently in the top 100 is SmartCash. SmartCash requires 10,000 tokens in order to run the Masternode, but it's currently priced at 22 cents per coin, so that's likely doable for most people. So far, the annual return on investment for SmartCash Masternodes has averaged a whopping 171%, but that's likely due to a massive pump back in January to $3 a coin. It's still worth checking out, especially if it can ever reach those heights again. So guys, I hope this video has been a pretty substantial guide to the wonderful world of Masternodes and the awesome potential they have. As always, one of the things that makes me so successful in finding Masternode type coins is that I invest more in what I know rather than knowing what I should invest more in. And this has made the world of difference for me. Cryptocurrency can be gambling or it can be investing. The difference is how you treat it. To summarize, the best way to find the coins I've talked about in this video is being very good at research and analysis. Two good sites that I'll link in the description for researching Masternodes specifically are masternodes.pro and masternodes.online. And just be aware that they don't have every coin on there that has Masternodes, will be implementing Masternodes, or is rumored to have Masternodes. For example, VChain, Walton, and Origin Trail are not on there. Likely because they haven't launched their Masternodes, but they all have basically confirmed that they'll have them. So with that, do your research and maybe soon you'll have an awesome portfolio with Masternodes at the core, earning you enough to live off of. It's certainly fun to think about. And so before I go, Doc and I are running a free live webinar tonight to talk to you about what we're seeing in the market and to give you some guidance on how to handle this type of market, as well as to comment on the opportunities we see in today's crypto market. Just register by clicking on the link in the description and join us tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Unfortunately, space is limited, so make sure you register now and show up early. If you can't join us or the webinar is full, it's no problem. Just sign up anyways and we'll record and archive the webinar and email you the replay on Wednesday. There's no cost, no hassle. We just want to connect with you and give you some tools to handle today's volatility. As I said, the registration link is in the description below, so check it out. So guys, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. And if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button so you can continue to see high quality crypto analysis. And don't forget to hit the bell next to the subscribe button to be notified when we put out new videos. Additionally, check out the description for a link to our daily newsletter. Thanks again for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.